Hello and welcome to my review of Spider-Man Homecoming. Now I'm going to do my usual kind of way I like to obviously do this, is I like to talk my likes and my dislikes of this movie, and I'm going to try my best to kind of keep the spoilers to the end of this review because there's things I want to talk about. Yeah, I'm just going to say right now, I absolutely loved this movie. I'm just going to say right now, I don't think it's better than Spider-Man 2. I still think Spider-Man 2 is up there, but Homecoming is just, it's right there. It's close. It's close. I really enjoyed it. I think Tom Holland gives a great performance. I think the whole cast is great. Michael Keaton is great as Vulture, and I must say I'm so glad that they actually made the Vulture a decent villain, because there's no point denying it. The Vulture in the comics and many animated series is not the greatest villains. He really is just an old man in a bird costume, oddly tight bird costume. But yeah, you know, I really did enjoy this movie. I thought there was a nice sprinkle of the MCU stuff. Sometimes it got a bit too heavy, I thought, at times, but overall I thought, you know, it was just a nice amount. And the Avengers Tower looks just beautiful at night. I loved the neon lights it had. I thought that was really nice stuff. And what I really liked about this movie was how Wright's small scaled it was. I thought some of the shots was so nice of just seeing Peter simply just walking to school. That stuff I like. For me, I always like that kind of stuff because it's great. It opens up. You see in the trailers where it's like by Wright's, you see him. It was in Civil War, his kind of point of view of it, and then suddenly it's just a hard cut to him in a train, and I think it's just great. I like that kind of stuff. To me, I'm like, yes, that's Peter Parker. And Tom Holland done a great job of that. I thought he done a really great performance, and I also liked his friend Ned Leeds. I thought he was great. I really like the bit where he wears a hat, which I think is just a good example of what teenagers are like, where they're just experiment with things. They don't really kind of, you know, we're all like that, where we didn't really know what looks good, what looks really bad until we're in our 20s and we look back and go, yeah, that was some bad stuff I was doing there wearing that. But yes, other kind of stuff I enjoyed, obviously Michael Keaton, I thought, as I kind of mentioned, I think he was great as the Vulture. There's some really great scenes, I think, in this movie with him, where he really just chews up the scenery, I think. I think there's a nice amount of Tony Stark as well, good old Robert Downey Jr. I think he was used well. I thought who was really used well was actually Happy Hogan. I thought he was used really well. There's actually a lot more than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think he was going to be in this movie as much, but yeah, it turns out he was. So yeah, on to my dislikes for this movie, and I do have a couple of dislikes. Now, it is in the trailer, so I don't think it's a spoiler really, but Peter obviously has an AI. I don't agree with Spider-Man having an AI. I think it kind of beats the purpose of what Spider-Man is all about. You know, his wits is almost his superpower. Trying to get of that kind of way for me. I don't feel like that's Iron Man's thing. Don't turn him into Iron Man. Though I would have been fine if they did it. I don't know. There's like something that kind of obviously happens at the end, but I'll keep that for the spoilers. A couple of things that I wasn't obviously big about. For me, the Spider-Man has a great mythology and a great world of its own, and I don't think this film used it to its potential. I think there was some things I would have maybe liked mentioned, of kind of wondering, is this in the world? And there wasn't. So, in fact, yes, I'm just going to say right now, spoilers ahead, because I want to talk about it, because it's part of the dislikes here. But I thought it was a little bit gutting that we didn't have any reference to Oscorp of J. Jonah Jameson or the Daily Bugle. There was none of that kind of stuff. And people can say, you know, what they like about, oh, well, you know, he's still young. It's like, yeah, I get that, but, you know, especially stuff like Oscorp and Daily Bugle, which is a bloody, you know, these are organisations. They're going to be surely big in this world, I would imagine. I would have loved it if you saw the Avengers Tower and then you could just see obviously the Oscorp Tower and the Daily Bugle now. I would have loved that. I'm guessing there's some sort of maybe reason for that. That's not a case. I don't know why, but but that's kind of mostly it for me of the dislikes. Is that there were just the two things for me that really quite kind of got to me a little bit. Where I would have maybe liked to have seen a bit more world building of Spider-Man's world, not necessarily of the MCU world. And believe me, I like the MCU stuff, I do. But I just think stuff like that you're kind of missing a little bit for me. And obviously, so now I'm really onto the more kind of meaty spoiler stuff. One thing I really liked about the opening sequence, obviously set just after the Avengers battle in New York, it kind of solves a plot point that a lot of people kind of a lot of people had a problem with, of who cleans up all this stuff. And even I was a bit like, who does clean up all this stuff? And they actually kind of answer it, which was quite well done, I thought. And there was times where I was kind of like, I kind of agree what Vulture is on. He's just trying to make a living at the end of the day, and he keeps getting people throwing real problems. And I kind of get his kind of, I get his motivation, I really do, which is very rare in superhero movies. I never feel like you get the villain's motivation clearly for me personally, but and obviously, the end sequence, obviously, we see Peter go to the Avengers facility, which is all brand new. There's new stuff in it, which okay. I don't know what was wrong really with the old one, but there was a nice little reference to Vision, which I quite liked, about how he just doesn't really care about walls, he just walks through them. And obviously we had a nice little appearance of Pepper Potts, and I liked, obviously, before this, Pepper and Tony weren't really together, and they could have made a big old deal about that, but they didn't. They just went and kissed each other. I was like, oh, thank God they didn't make a big deal about that. They just kind of go on with it, and I'm guessing maybe in Infinity War, in the fourth one, we're maybe going to see the wedding of Tony and Pepper, I'm guessing, by what kind of happened at the end of that sequence. And I'm glad that Peter didn't join the Avengers, because I think Spider-Man, Avengers is there, but Spider-Man's still on his own, even when the Avengers was still strong and going. That's what I always like about him. He's very much on his own, with guests coming into his world, sort of thing. And I like that kind of sort of stuff. And I did quite like the clearly the Iron Spider. I'm guessing that was meant to be. I wouldn't have mind maybe some claws coming out the back. I think that would have been maybe nice, but that's just nitpicking. Yeah, I liked the way it ended. Obviously, we had the after credit scene. Where it looks like Sony's really pushing again for to get that Sinister Six going. So it looks like Sinister Six so far might entail the Vulture and Scorpion. And I would maybe be cool for obviously to have I'm guessing the Shocker and maybe the Tinker, but he's more the behind the scenes villain, I'm guessing. I really liked actually the group of villains. I thought it was a great group of villains actually in this movie. And obviously we had Donald Glover in this movie, and he does a nice reference to obviously his nephew, which is obviously will be going to being the Miles Morales, the other Spider-Man. So it's nice that they've kind of thought a step ahead really here, and so I like that kind of stuff. Also liked, which I knew anyway, but I'm glad they did make a little reference you saw of it, was the principal of the school is an ancestor of one of the Howling Commandos, and I'm sure it is in the office, in his office that he has, you can see a picture of his, I'm guessing, grandfather, and I liked that. That was nice. That was a nice little bit of, you don't need to be told, it's just, if you're into that stuff, there you go. That is definitely, there is a relation, and I like that, because obviously it's played by the same actor who was in the Howling Commandos in the first Captain America, so I like that kind of stuff. So yeah, overall, I like this. I really like this movie actually. Would I go so far to say it's probably my favourite one since Guardians of the Galaxy, in terms of maybe, I'm trying to think what after it was coming after Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, no, Civil War. I do really like Civil War, but I feel like it's a little bit better than Civil War in terms of it feels really quite fresh and just everything I want in a Spider-Man movie I kind of got, bar from a couple of things which they might obviously probably do for the sequel, hopefully. So yeah, what do you guys think? Did you like this movie? Did you hate this movie? Let me know, comment down below. More videos in the future. So until then, see you later.